How's it going, everyone, and welcome back. Today is part 3 of my views on E3, basically the games that really stood out to me and the ones that I sort of wanted to talk about. Today we're going to be going over Ubisoft, Sony and Nintendo's conferences, and yeah, if any games that you really like the look of isn't on here, or I don't talk about it at all, it doesn't mean that I don't think it's going to be bad. It just means that, you know, it hasn't quite piqued my interest enough at this point in time. So sorry about that, and you know, let's get started. So today we're going to begin with Ubisoft's E3 conference. Now, the first game that really stood out to me, and it was first initially announced last year's E3, but it's Skull and Bones. Now, this was revealed last year, as I said, and it's basically based off of the ship side of Assassin's Creed 4. Like, they basically took the whole thing of Assassin's Creed 4, sort of sailing the ship and everything, and that gameplay, built on it and made it its own game because people loved it, and I remember loving it. Assassin's Creed 4 was great, mainly because being a pirate was so much fun, and they just built that into its own game effectively, and it looks brilliant. It's online, so it's set in the East Indian Ocean, I believe it is, and it just looked brilliant. It has this quite a dark feel to the trailer, but the in-game, like, there's sort of, you're obviously a pirate, but it still looks beautiful. The game looks gorgeous. You can have different ships which have different play styles. The shared world is very PvP, but also you can like team up and make alliances, so you need to make that kind of decision, which I think is really nice. So, you know, you may come across some people, you may decide to just kill them all, take their stuff, or you may, you know, decide to be friends, go kill everyone else together. You know, make that choice your own. You basically, yeah, you're a pirate. You go to the East Indian Ocean because the Caribbean is, like, pretty much piracy is completely illegal there, and they've really cracked down. So you go to the Indian Ocean to go be a pirate there. You have to do things like pick up intel on targets where you can go kill them and destroy their ship to collect loads of treasure. Apparently the world is very reactive and evolves, like, depending on weathers and things like that. Different routes and things change, so that makes a massive difference, and I think that'll be a really good aspect of it, and I'm quite looking forward to that. Your ship is completely customizable, down from your steering wheel thing all the way up to sort of your cannons, like what sort of armor it kind of has and all that kind of stuff, so that'll really change up your play style, and I think that'll be really cool. I believe it kind of made the impression that you could also customize your crew. How much of a difference that makes, I'm interested to see. Or if, you know, I heard that right, I may have misheard it, and sorry if I did. Just, they showed some gameplay and it looked really good. Like, you stand at the helm of your ship, so you're steering, but like when you need to see far, it then rushes up to the top of the mast, and you got your dude standing up there so you can see far and see what you need to go to and see if anyone's coming. And then when you're fighting, it runs along, the camera runs along to your guns and your cannons along the side of the ship. And so instead of just playing as one man giving orders, you're kind of playing as the entire ship and crew, and it looks like it's been done very, very well. You can do little things, like, depending on the situation, like if you're in a bad place and you don't want to get seen, you can change like your flags to disguise yourself and sort of try and be a bit sneaky on your boat, which I think is a really good idea, and I like that they're really opening it up to see how it goes. Different ships have different special abilities, so like there's one ship which just can place its anchor down and tank and be just like a tank and just take so many hits. And then you've got ships that can just shoot unending blasts and things like that. So I think that's really cool. I'm kind of stumbling over all my words because there was so much, and I remember just loving it all, that I was, you know, I feel like I actually need to watch it again because I'm really excited about this game. I really am. The graphics look gorgeous. The gameplay looks fantastic. Like, it looks like a beautiful world. Like, the water effects, the lighting, it all looks amazing, and I'm so looking forward to this one. So I really advise you keep your eye out for this one. It's coming in 2019. So now, the only other one that Ubisoft really sort of showed which really interested me was Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Now, I'm actually really behind on the Assassin's Creed games. I played a little bit of Origins, but I'm really behind. You know, I didn't play Syndicate, I didn't play Unity, So I'm quite behind, and it's really annoying me because I keep meaning to sit down and just catch up and play them all, but I just haven't gotten around to it. But this next one looks really good. Set in ancient Greece, you know, I believe you play as a Spartan. It looks, once again, this is another one, it just looks beautiful. Like, the world looks so awesome and filled, and it looks alive, and that's the thing, it looks like a living world, and I love it. Hopefully they really do expand on the changes that were made in Origins, because I know that some people are worried about this. Like, obviously they took a break from Assassin's Creed for a year to make Origins because they felt it was getting stale and they didn't want to keep doing it yearly and bringing out an annual game because it just wasn't moving anywhere fast, unfortunately. So then they brought out Origins, and there was a lot of differences, a lot of changes which I think worked really well. Like, what I played, they worked well, and what a lot of people have said, it worked well. Now the worry is that they've now, a year later, bringing out another Assassin's Creed game. So the worry is, like, literally, how far could they have really progressed things? How many changes could they really have made? Or is it going to be very similar to Origins? And that is a worry. But hopefully they've expanded on it enough and actually maybe even been planning it earlier before sort of Origins was released to know what they needed to do. But we'll see. We will definitely see. Now, one of the big things was when you begin your game, you get to play... you get to choose between two playable characters, a male and a female. Now, this was quite a big thing because before... in the past, Ubisoft actually said, I believe, that they couldn't do a female assassin before because animating a woman was just a bit too difficult for them in all the situations they needed. Obviously that has changed. Like Syndicate, you played as a woman, like as one of the twins and things. So it is doable, and the fact that they've made it just a full-on playable character right from the beginning, you can choose who you want to be. It was quite a big thing, and I think people are quite happy about that. You play as a mercenary outcast. And it seems like the choices you make actually make a difference in the world, which is quite cool. Like, there were dialogue choices and things like that, so I think that's going to be quite awesome. And it appears that you have, like, the broken spear of Leonidas, the dude from the Spartan army, like the leader of the Spartan army, king of the Spartans. You know, if you ever watch 300, he's in that. That seems to be a weapon that gives you loads of different kind of powerful attacks, ranging from just really strong attacks to quite stealthy powers and things like that. So I'm really interested to see how that's integrated into it all. So I think that's going to be a good one. I'm looking forward to it. I got a lot of Assassin's Creed to catch up on before then, but you know, I'll cross that bridge when it comes to it. But yeah, so that was like the only ones from Ubisoft that really caught my eye. Once again, there were other good games that looked good, but those were the two that I really sort of wanted to put my 2 cents in and just tell you that, you know, I really like the look of them. If you haven't checked them out, or if you didn't see, I advise you just go have a look, you know. So yeah. So next up is Sony's E3 press conference. Now, the first one I'm going to talk about is the Ghost of Tsushima. Now, this looked pretty awesome. Once again, the graphics looked really nice. The scenery looked really bleak, but yet beautiful at the same time. And it seems that it's taking place in late 13th century Japan. That's the impression I get. And the reason I say this is, I can't remember if it actually said, but you play as a samurai, and a bit came up that said about the Mongol invasion, and I know that the Mongol invasion of Japan happened in somewhere between 1274 and 1287, I think it was. So that's what makes me believe it's late 13th century Japan. I hope I'm right on that, because I'm usually really bad at history, but we'll see how that goes. The music score for this, like, I was listening to the music as the gameplay and the trailer was playing, and it sounded beautiful. It had that real old school Japan sound with like the flutes and things. I don't know what the actual instrument's called, but like the flute sounding instrument, and it sounded amazing. Like, it really did. It's a third-person action adventure game. There are bits of sort of stealth in it, which I really like the look of. The combat actually seems quite slow-paced and thought out. I'm not going to say it's like Dark Souls in the sense that, you know, it's difficult and it's the same way, but it looks like you do have to think about what you're doing. Like, there are fast moments, but you do have to really think about how you're fighting to get the best out of it, and I think that's a really good way of doing it. There was a bit that it showed in the gameplay trailer where he actually sort of it was a very short moment, but he ran up some things, used a rope to climb up onto a roof, and it was almost like a free running reminiscent of Assassin's Creed. So I'm interested to see a bit more of that and to see how movement through the world happens. So that looks good. Graphically, you know, it's pretty graphic. There was a lot of blood, a lot of slicing, a lot of killing, chopping limbs off, things like that. So that's always good in an action game. It's always good fun. There was little sort of slow motion kill combos. So like you'd kill one dude, then it'd go slow mo as you aim at the next, and you'd go over to him and kill, and that was in there. And that was pretty awesome. I'm looking forward to playing around with that. And it's one of these games that looks like it's going to be an emotional game. It looks like it's got one of these storylines that's gonna hit you hard, you know. You're gonna get real invested in the characters, real invested in the story, and I get the impression that it's probably gonna be a storyline to it that probably doesn't have a good ending, but we'll definitely see how that goes, because it looks good. I'm really looking forward to that. So once again, that's Ghost of Tsushima, but yeah, keep your eye out for that one, guys. The next one that really caught my eye was Resident Evil 2 is getting a remake. Now this looked awesome. The graphics, of course, have had a major upgrade. I mean, Resident Evil 2 came out on the PS1, and I remember this because I remember when I was a kid, I must have been maybe 5 or 6, something like that, when we got the PS1. Can't quite remember. And I remember my dad got Resident Evil 2 for it, and I remember it used to scare the hell out of me. But I used to watch it because it was awesome, but it used to scare me so much. And then I look back at it now and I think, oh man, those graphics are terrible. Why was I ever scared of this? But it was scary when I was younger, you know, and I think a lot of people got that fear because it was all about the atmosphere and everything. And they've done a major graphic overhaul. You're back in Raccoon City. From the looks of things, they've taken the camera angle different. So I think they've done an over-the-shoulder one, same as they did sort of Resident Evil 4. From what I can tell, both stories are in there from both Leon and Claire, so that's always good. And this is going to be released on January 25th 2019, so I'm very looking forward to this one. This one will be good, partly for nostalgia's sake for me personally. As I said, I watched my dad play it when I was younger, and you know, I just always remember that game. And the last one from Sony that I wanted to talk about was Spider-Man. Now obviously we've known about this for a while. It looks awesome. There's a lot of talk about it because obviously everyone knows that no one's really managed to quite catch Spider-Man in the same way that they did with the Spider-Man 2 game on the PS2. The movie tie-in game, no one's quite managed to capture that feel of being Spider-Man, and apparently this one is going to. It looks stunning. The gameplay, the cutscenes, they all look so smooth and glossy. It looks great. The combat looks so fluid, with lots of movements, jumping back and forth between enemies across the room. And it actually reminded me a little bit of sort of like the Arkham games, in the sense that you can counter mid combos and things like that. So I'm interested to see how it differs. It looks like there's special moves, so like loads of webbing out at different times, things like that. Now it showed you sort of gameplay and cutscenes from that gameplay, just sort of a section of the gameplay pretty much. And the enemies you saw was Electro, Scorpion, Rhino, Vulture, and Mr. Negative. And then the way they spoke seemed to imply that they were working for someone else, but they didn't show who that someone else was right at the end. But from those enemies, I get the impression that this could be a Sinister Six storyline. Anyone who's not familiar with sort of the Spider-Man universe, the Sinister Six was like 6 of Spider-Man's major enemies come together as a team to beat him up. 6 from his rogues. So I'm interested to see if they actually go down the Sinister Six route or just have them all there anyway. That'll be cool to see. Spider-Man's comedy, like Peter Parker's comedy, and quick one-liners are all in there, which is always needed, because I feel that was a big thing with Spider-Man. If you don't have that, it's not going to feel like Spider-Man. The web swinging and building jumping looks so smooth. Like so smooth, like you're swinging like in a chase and things, but you're swinging onto a building, running, hopping across them in such fluid motion. It looks like they've done it so well. And there was this bit that they showed where you're running up a building wall because you're chasing Electro, and Electro's shooting down, and your spider sense goes off when you have to jump from side to side. Now this instantly made me think they were doing a major throwback to Spider-Man 2 on the PS1, because Electro was the main enemy. And near the end there was a section where you're climbing this massive wall to get to the top of a building, and your spider sense goes off and you have to move because Electro is shooting masses of lightning down at that point. So I really feel like they've done that on purpose as sort of a callback to almost go, this is what we can do now, this is how it looks now. And I'm so excited for this game, I really am. It looks so good, so good. And finally we come to Nintendo. Now, to be honest, there was a lot on Nintendo. They talked about a lot of, well, they didn't talk about a lot of games, but there was a lot of games shown, a lot of little flicks of games that are either coming or are already out, or that we already knew about the majority of them, to be perfectly honest with you. Now, the one that I'm going to talk about, and it is only one, is Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. So the Super Smash Bros. Game that we've known about for a while, but just not much, and it's coming to the Switch. They've named it Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Now, the first big thing, the first big reveal they made was that every single character from all the previous games are here. So you got Pichu, Solid Snake is back. You got all the Fire Emblem characters, Cloud's back again, Bayonetta. You've got Young Link, Toon Link, Adult Link. So that's 3 Links. You know, there's just so many, which I think is awesome. That's just absolutely insane. What they've said is the starting roster may be just the original N64 roster, so you start with that small amount of characters and then you've got to get them all. And they were saying that they've tried to make it so it really feels like you're constantly progressing, so that's going to be cool to see. They've brought back 8-player battles, so that'll be interesting. Like, that'll be insane. They were always insane, but they were always such good fun. And they've done little changes as well, like certain fighters have slight changes. Things like Mario's new hat is like the hat from Mario Odyssey. Link's bombs are now remotely detonated. They've made it so final smashes are now much more speedy and straight to the point, so they're just quick things, and that's really awesome. And a prime example is like Giga Bowser has changed as well. They've made him huge, like massive, and he like punches in a certain area and just knocks everyone off, and that's his fast smash, but it just looks massive. There's changes to outfits. You can now play as like a female Pokemon trainer and a female Pikachu, so it's got like the love heart in his tail, all those kinds of things. And then changes to gameplay there as well. Sort of charge moves before, you could only charge when you're on the ground, whereas now they've made it so you can charge mid-air as well, which I think is going to make a massive difference to how things are played. In one-on-one fights, when you do like a massive hit, it goes into a slow-mo section, just to, you know, accentuate it, you know, it just makes it feel more heavy. And what they've done as well is they've got things, and they've actually named certain characters Echo Fighters, and they've put a little ellipsis by their name. And what they're doing is, it's characters like Dark Pit and Lucina, and it's sort of, they're kind of just clones of like Marth and Pit, but they've tried to show that they are by calling them Echo Fighters. So just slight differences, but overall kind of the same style of fighting and things. And they've brought a new one in which is Daisy, and she's an Echo Fighter of Peach, so that'll be cool, you know, just a few extras. Brand new fighter, the Inklings, they've been brought in, and that's gonna be good fun. They were saying like the ink, when you shoot people with it, like it makes them more susceptible to damage, but also that they can run out of ink, so you then have to recharge if you want to shoot more, things like that. That'll be really cool. You get points now for like KOing and an assist trophy. There's brand new trophies. There's loads of the damn things, such as like Bomberman appears. Apparently they've got more items and Pokemon. They've even brought in a fake Smash Ball. There's new movement, so you can do sort of a small hop attack, and you can also like do air dodges, last minute air dodges. There's just so much they have added to this game. It looks crazy. And then the last couple of reveals they made to the game at the end is like you can use a GameCube controller to play, because a lot of people just say that is the way to play, that's the way they like to play. Apparently like just the button layout was just perfect for them, so they've made it so that's doable. All Smash Bros amiibos are usable, so all previous Smash Bros amiibos are usable, everything like that. And then the final announcement, which is going to get so many people hyped up, is that Ridley from Metroid is now a playable character. He looks big and he looks mean, but this is the #1 most requested character in Super Smash Bros, and it's been that way for a very long time, and people just want to play as Ridley, and they've done it. They've made him a playable character, and he looks awesome. He really does. So Super Smash Bros Ultimate is actually being released December this year, and I'm so going to get that, and it's going to be good fun. So that will be brilliant. But that was really the only one I wanted to talk about from Nintendo, to be honest. As I said, there's other games. There's plenty of other games, and if I haven't mentioned it, I do apologise, but that was the one that I really wanted to sort of just put my 2 cents on once again. Thank you very much for joining me today, guys. It's been an absolute pleasure, and that is another year of E3 done. We've had some real awesome looking games coming out. Once again, I do apologise if I've not mentioned anything that you really like the look of. If I haven't, let me know down in the comments. I really want to know what you thought looked really good and what you're looking forward to that was shown this year. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, guys, ring the notification bell, hit that like button. Also, you can find me on all the fun social medias, you know, Twitter, Instagram, all that. Links are down in the description, and I will catch you all next time. Take it easy, everybody.